Welcome back to the Brave and the Kobolds. Welcome to this world of fantasy that we are weaving collaboratively with our minds and our words and our hearts. Who can say? Last episode, our four adventurers, our four brave adventuring kobolds, had just left the home of Rhea, who was a little old lady who lives on the outskirts of the town that you saw from far away when you were just descending the slope of the mountain. You've been fed. You were able to spend the night, and I think you had a nice time. I think you had a comfortable evening. You also were given a bit of information about some things that you have never encountered before, such as what is a town, what is a house, what is buying and selling, and all these things. As you will be approaching the town, there will be some things that you know theoretically, let's put it this way. Fairly early morning, you're walking along a narrow sandy path that is sloping and winding its way downhill, bordered by sort of tall grass and bushes and vegetation. There's nary a cloud in sight. It's a proper sort of sunny day, and it's nice and warm, so none of you are suffering particularly.
Well, I mean, Zaffre always tries to get in front of everybody, because he feels like, he's the guard. That's his job, is to guard them. So, he's in front of everybody, and he knows it's a town, so he doesn't feel like they have to be super on guard, but he can't help but feel like he's still got to keep his eyes open. I think he's sort of pulling it off as, I'm just making sure everybody's safe, but really he's just fascinated by this place. And he's trying to see things and identify things that he's read in books and stuff like that.
Cool. Is it tall grass taller than us, or is it just like a little bit?
Are we in a meadow?
Yeah. You're not in a meadow. It's definitely the shortest grass around you is your height. It's the grass that when it's in the breeze, it makes that sort of very loud rustling noise.
And it does the cool little wave motions, and it's pretty.
Yeah. I guess Noki is gonna just diverge from the path just a few steps into the grass and then circle back to the path and do this a couple of times just to go in and out of it. I think grab a couple of stalks of grass.
Are there flowers?
There are some
What's
flowers,
a flower?
Exactly.
When you were picking oranges, I guarantee you there were some flowers. There were some nice some roses or some petunias or something like that. Some very vibrant coloured flowers, and you all freaked out. And Rhea very very quickly told you what flowers are. But they're not the flowers that were in her garden. They're all wildflowers, so I'd say sort of quite small. But yeah, it's just nice and pretty.
If I see any sort of quite close to the path, I'm not gonna get off of it like Noki, but if there's some nice ones, particularly ones that smell nice, I'd like to pick them and take them with me.
This is just magical. May I just say, this is just such a beautiful scene.
We're gonna get into town with hands full of grass and flowers.
We've come to trade!
And Zaffre is pointing, that's a flower. I've read about them. Don't panic, anyone. It's not poisonous. I read about it.
Meeza's gonna cast Mage Armor because paranoid.
Remind me, is that a cantrip or is it a spell?
No, that's a first level spell, so I gotta roll a d20.
Oh boy.
5, that's very close.
That's fine, you're fine. It's getting closer and closer.
It is getting slowly closer to that number.
Mm-hmm.
The magic number.
Who knows what could happen? But nothing happens this time. You get that magical sneeze that doesn't come again.
Yeah.
You get that thing. It builds up, and then maybe you do a little burp. I don't know. It's like, and what does the mage armor look like? Anything? Is it invisible? Is it?
It's pretty invisible. It doesn't really look like much. I may look a little bit more sparkly.
Oh, nice. So it has this aesthetic value as well.
Yes, it's sparkly.
You continue in this manner on the way, and eventually you sort of beyond the tall grass that gets shorter and shorter, and it gets replaced by bushes and some sort of ornamental type trees. You see some more buildings. You see some much larger buildings. These are twice the height of Rhea's cottage. How do you approach? You sort of, in front of you are a lot of these buildings which are very big. But there are sort of
I
big
just
gaps
have
in
Grub, and I'm just holding him like a teddy bear, like a security blanket.
Aww.
Zaffre will get, in front of everybody. Is there like a main road leading?
Is there a gate? Do we even know what a gate is?
There isn't a gate. There is a main road. In fact, I should say the path that you were on has kind of skewed off, and it's joined a cobbled road. So this is this would probably actually feel
interesting.
It would feel interesting.
I thought you said kobold for a minute.
No,
I
cobbled.
meant cobbled, not kobold. Okay, I imagine there was an image in my head, and I was like, wait, there's more of us here.
You're all lying down to make a road.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm definitely impressed by someone having to gone to all the trouble of putting all of these nice smooth rocks down together in one place. Obviously took them a long time, and it's a lot of work. So he'll kind of lead the little troop, and he wants to make sure everybody stays close.
Does it have a wall around it, or is it just like a bunch of buildings?
There isn't a wall around the town. It does seem to just be houses and buildings. If we look at it sort of out of character from a human perspective, these homes look more residential. You would suspect the houses sort of which are more inward, sort of beyond these ones, which are taller, not the houses, sorry, the buildings which are beyond might be shops. There might be some other types of buildings.
Hey, Zaffre. Zaffre, do you think it's safe? They're a lot bigger than she told us about.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this is safe. Should we check in with Raz? We have the mirror. We haven't checked in with Raz yet. Maybe she knows about what a town is.
We should check in with Raz. This is true. And I'll pull out the mirror. I'll kind of take us out to the side of the road, and pull out the mirror.
And you see just an eye. That's all. And you hear sort of like a slightly echoey voice say, "Oh dear, it's a bit close. Hold on. Let me flip it." For a good chunk, there is what appears to be a dragon thumb over the So eventually you're able to get a clear picture of Roz, and she says, "Oh, hello, my dears. I my goodness, I wasn't expecting a call from you so soon. Is everything all right?"
I'm gonna just shove my snout in and go, "We found a town! What is a town?"
I'm gonna shove Meeza out of the way, and then I salute, and I'm like, Roz, do we have like a term that we just call her Roz, or do we call her anything?
I would say she's probably told everybody, just call me Roz. I think Zaffre would be one of the few people who would still say Roz Dactyl.
We simply wanted to give you a quick report to show you that we have made it as far as a town. We have met one of the human types.
Ooh,
They were
wonderful.
not unkind,
That's
and-
good.
and we are about to make our way to a large gathering place of these people.
I push back in and I hold up the coin that I've slightly bent from biting it and go, look, they gave us these little currency things. They say it's called money.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's right. I believe that's a copper piece.
We
Well
each
done.
got one.
Well done. Well, that's wonderful. So I would assume you're in Port Olaros? I imagine
don't know.
How do we- I did not know these things had names.
Why does a
we'll-
thing that is inanimate not have a name? I'm very confused.
It's not a person, Ross. Maybe you misunderstand. You see, there's all these stone things.
Show her the picture.
Yeah, turn it around.
Show her the picture.
Yeah, I show her the town.
It's
You
not
know
a
what,
person.
You know what? She is actually giggling. In character, she's kind of giggling, and it'll take her a few seconds, and she's like, "Oh yes, I understand. You know, you see, with these people beyond kobold society, they live in lots of different places. You see, they travel a lot, and so it helps them to have names for places as well. You know, like how
Yes.
in our burrow, in our den, we have the name for the great hall. We have the name for the egg nursery. That's because we have so many rooms. It makes sense for us to name them, and it's
But that's practical.
well. You see, this
This
is
is-
practical too.
Okay, well, we will venture into this place and contact you again when we have something important to report.
Right. I will remind you, the enchantment on the mirror is once a day. So, yes, I did say, but you know, I'm sure everything will be fine before the morrow.
Is there anything we should know about a town?
Well, I guess Rose will tell you the same things that Ray has told you. It's a collection of buildings where people live, and there'll also be places where people sell things, and the concept of selling was explained to you. And
It just sounds so much more believable out of her mouth than a human.
I think sort of Rose will say, "Well, if that's all."
Is Egg's brother there? Maybe Egg wants to say hi to her brother.
Yes, is Og there?
No.
How's he been doing?
It's not even been a day, really.
I know, but I worry about him.
I'm sure he's fine. Oh, I seem to have another call. Goodbye. Sorry. And the picture
yes.
goes away.
Oh god.
I'll put it away. I'll put the mirror away carefully.
Can I see where Zaffre puts it away? Can I pay very close attention to that?
Yeah, then he's turning around and he's hiding it. Well, it is safe, and we will go forward bravely.
Hail and well met. This is a new segment that we'll be including halfway into every episode from now on, in which we promote a fellow artist, video maker, crafter, or other creative person who we at the Brave and the Kobolds feel deserves a bit more attention. This time, we're shining the spotlight on CHARRED STITCHERY. Char designs and hand sews amazing nerdy plushes, from adorable beshoulders to cute little goblins and dragons. She's incredibly talented, and you should all go and take a look at her website, social media, and Patreon. Links to all of these are included in the video description below.
So you set forth. I presume you're kind of all quite close together. You're kind of maybe not much.
Yeah.
Not much. For the most part, you sort of you're following this path. It's just walls on either side of you.
Are there any other life forms besides us out in the streets?
Not in the sort of the path you're taking right now. It's still.
Are there
it's
any
still
windows?
There are windows, yes.
Can I look in a window, please?
They're too high up for you.
Can I stand on Grub and look in a window?
That will hurt him. Are you sure you want to do this to your pet?
Just a little squishy bug. Let's me step on it.
Can I stand on my pack then? Take my pack off my back and look.
What are we doing here?
Do like the jumping.
Meeza.
What? I want to see. They have windows. They're meant for viewing.
I talked to Rhea last night, and apparently people don't like that. I think they're for looking out, if I understand correctly.
That makes no sense.
I know.
It's very confusing. You would think that's a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, the road you're walking on, it sort of eventually it opens up, and you find yourselves sort of looking out onto a large square-shaped area. It's surrounded sort of on all four sides by more of these buildings. These are sort of much taller. In the square, there are some tables and some market stalls. To you, they would look like some very fancy tables. And there are some people. There are some humanoid creatures, humans and other species.
Do we see anything that resembles something more closely related to us?
Not really.
Oh boy. Are there short people, or are they all that human height that we saw yesterday?
You've just sort of come out of this little alley. You're not in the middle of the square yet, so there might be, but at the moment, sort of the market, you can just about see some activity, and the people you can see, because they are taller, they're the ones you can see. There might be some people, there might be some shorter folk there.
Let's go. I want people to give me things with this coin.
Wait.
Just going. I'm going.
So while Meeza is storming ahead, sort of on you're sort of approaching this square from the south. On the opposite end of the square, overlooking it kind of, it's still a fairly small building, but it's larger than the ones surrounding it, in the sense that it has a tower. All of the buildings are pastel shades. They're like light blue and light pink, light yellow. The air here is heavy with the smell of the sea. Again, it's that sort of salty air that you smelled before. And there's also some other smells that you might not be familiar with, but to your nostrils, they smell pretty good. Your senses are temporarily overwhelmed, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's exciting.
Zaffre, do you have your book? Is that?
Yes.
I think I've seen a picture.
All right. I'll like, find a spot where I can put down my pack and pull the book out very carefully. It's all very carefully wrapped, of course. And we flip through it.
And sort of when there's a picture of like a big castle, which I'm sure is in the night book, there's big sort of King Arthur castle. Do you think this is a castle?
No.
It has a chapel.
No. Castles are very, very, very large. They are, you see in the picture, the man is this big, and the castle is this big.
I sort of hold up the book to the building, go like,
So that is, and I use my fingers to measure it, like that's 16 of the mans on top of each other. So if you took, and he'll just point to like a random person. So if you took one of those people and made them stand on each other's shoulders, 16 of them, that's how tall the castle would be. So I don't think there is a castle here. Also, castles have guards and moats and horses.
What's a moat?
It's when they put water around something to make people not go to it. It's like putting a river between your house and the next person's house.
sounds like a good idea.
It would take a lot of kobolds to build. So only someone who can get a whole lot of people together at the same time to do one big job.
That is difficult, yes. Even gathering people for the Great Gathering, it's a nightmare.
Well, Ag and Zaffre are having their sort of architectural discussion. Noki, you feel a small, something small touch your tail and kind of pull at it gently.
I want to instinctively like pull it back and like jump a little bit and look what it is.
You turn around and there is a very small creature, humanoid, that you assume is the same species as Rhea. But you can sort of tell by the features and the proportions of this creature that they appear to be a very young child. And they were just sort of they grabbed at your tail.
Compare with me, are they same size, smaller, a lot smaller?
They're a little bit smaller than you.
I want to try and pick him up. Them. Look what I found. It's mine now. Snake. No, my name is Noki.
We have
It's called
kidnapped a
Snake.
small child.
Down now. Down now. And I like plop it down. Bye, Snake.
Give it food. Give it food.
It runs off.
No.
Come back, I love you. Yeah, this child sort of scampers off. In general, there are a couple more people, but again, it's most of the activity seems to be concentrated sort of at the center of this market square, and the few people that pass by you, the individual that Zaffre sort of pointed at, they look at you with mild surprise, some a little bit with amusement. A couple of people sort of smirk a little bit. And yeah, there are a couple of other children and they just could sort of point and giggle. But aside from that, nobody's reacting negatively. They're just sort of a little bit bemused. There might be perhaps a couple of more elderly townsfolk, and they do the thing where they're hobbling along. They see you and they do like a 180 and they start hobbling in another direction.
I glare at those people.
Ooh. There is also another building which is on the opposite side of the market. So you can't see all of it, but you can see that it's quite a tall building, and it's quite colourful. It's got some bunting hanging up around it.
I sort of look up from the conversation with Zaffre and go, "Oh, they've run off."
no.
I am long gone.
Oh no.
I
Meeza's
probably
long gone.
didn't go that far, like still like inside, but just like at, I think, how far is the marketplace from where we were standing first?
Now you see, this is where you have me at a disadvantage. Because I have no head, no smarts for distances.
Like
A little ways, a long ways.
But I would say but a minute's walk.
Mhm.
Let's use time, something
Yeah.
I'm only marginally less well equipped to measure things with.
Yeah, I think Noki would have kind of like went a little bit more closer to the market itself than, but not actually go in it yet. Just waiting for the rest to kind of catch up and go.
You
I
kind of
would-
followed after that small child a little bit, but once they got out of eyesight, then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna wait here.
They have more walking speed than me.
Zaffre, if you can go find Meeza, I'll go check on Noki.
Yes, I will attempt to find the leaders of this place.
That's also a good idea, yeah.
I went up to the first stall that I saw.
I can describe some stalls to you, and you sort of tell me which one would have caught your eye. Of the stalls that are almost completely set up, because quite a few of them are still just tables at the moment, there are a stall which seems to be covered with lots of fabric, what look like garments, clothes, textiles, sort of lengths of various vibrantly colored fabric, and one other. It is a stall, again, this one is only sort of half set up. It seems to be mostly covered with bottles, bowls, pouches, wooden trays, and little wooden boxes. And the stall owner is sort of, they've got their back to the world. They've got their back to you. You can't really see them. They're kind
Don't tell me that.
They're kind of they're kneeling, not kneeling. They're sort of hunched over. They're rooting around inside a box, a crate, which is just behind the table.
Are they all wood products?
The wooden items seem to be containers for the product.
Probably the textile, the clothing. I'm not gonna lie. I think the clothing would be the one Meeza
Okay.
would gravitate to.
This stall, now you're a little bit closer. It does seem, in fact, to be sort of a stall for clothes and textiles, and the stall owner is a very large, quite sort of muscular woman, dark grey, greyish green skin, wearing. They have sort of white hair, sort of silvery white hair, which is done up in a large bun, and they're wearing very vibrant clothes, which are very sort of loose and drapey, if you see what I mean. They're sort of the type of clothes that even if you move just a little bit, they kind of shimmer and wave around. And lots of jewelry. They've got lots of bangles and rings and necklaces. Well, Meeza's arrived at this stall. Because you've all done it again. You've thrown me a curveball and you've split the party, which is again something I was not prepared for. What are Ag and Noki doing? This is all simultaneous.
I think I'm just gonna go up to Noki. Why are you standing here, dear?
There was something, and it's I think it's called snake, because it kept saying it, and
So a snake?
I think so.
What did it look like?
Like a small version of the things around us. It's weird.
Was it dangerous?
No. It was very grabby, but it wasn't dangerous.
Well, I think this is the kind of thing we should report to Ross next time. If you see another one, please just let me know.
Do I see any more children around?
Not right now.
Okay.
What about Zaffre? What's Zaffre up to?
I think after he put the book away, he's gonna take a look around the market stall, and realize that this must be one of those trading places where they trade for items, and food and stuff. So he wants to find the leader of the place. He wants to try and see if he can figure out which one of these buildings would contain the leader type. He's going to imagine it's the biggest because Rosdactula has the biggest room. So the biggest is probably the leader. So he's going to go looking for the biggest building
Okay.
around, which I imagine would probably be near the square.
Yes, it would be definitely the building that was to the north, sort of overlooking the market square, the one with the tower.
Okay, so he'll march himself, and he marches. I'm literally marches all the way up the steps to this building.
On this north side of the market square, there is a lot simpler than the rest of the buildings surrounding it. It has some windows, but they're quite a lot larger and more colorful. The glass in them seems to have been given hues. It seems to have been painted in some way. It's made up of lots of different colors of glass. It's strange. There seems to be kind of a pattern on it. There are some steps leading up to the door. This is nothing like Rhea's front door. It's a double door, huge, looks like heavy wood, and above the door is a circular, brightly colored, shimmering image. It's not unlike the windows, but the pieces are much, much smaller. It's almost like little pebbles or little bits of stone which are all brightly colored, and they're arranged in such a way that they create an image. The image which decorates the facade of this building is of a human woman, sort of olive-skinned, again like Rhea, but much younger, with very, very long white hair. And this woman is holding a paintbrush in one hand, and in the other hand what looks like a sphere of some kind, a sort of blue-green sphere. And that's what you see.